right? And so the engine's fired up there. Didn't know for sure if we were able to fully hear them. Again, technical difficulties do happen, but of course, we have to focus now here on the starting lineup here for tonight's races. We'll get to the camera that I got to get to, the blimp camera, of course. So here is your starting grid, starting off on the pole here, of course, the number 17 of Corbin McCauley. In second place to his side, the number 13 of Jared Ireland. And now moving on down to the second row here, we got the number 1 Chevrolet of C.D. Mangrum in third place. And in fourth, with a solid finish last week at Auto Club, the number 21 of Matthew Paytak.
And moving on to row 3, again, we mentioned earlier the EOL penalty headed Justin Belmonte's way after the events of last week. So his 5th place will be negated. Scott Bailey would have started in 6th, but will get the benefit of 1 extra spot. Moving on to row 4. We've got Jonathan Peden, who I know has some less than stellar memories here in Las Vegas. We'll get to those over the course of the evening. Anyway, he starts in 7th place in his number 33 Chevy, while he'll have Michael Wolford for company there in 8th, driving the number 36 Chevy.
Moving on to the next row now to end off the top 10. In 9th place, we got defending series champion number 97 Toyota of Ty Higginbottom. To his side, pretty good underdog here so far this season, number 77 Ford of Hunter Young to wrap up the top 10. Now moving on to the next row, of course, got rookie number 15 Kyle Knoll in his Toyota 11th place. 12th place, we got the number 7 Chevrolet of Andy Hurdle.
And we go from car 7 to row 7 here, as we've got the number 10 of Jason Butler. His Chevy will start 13th, whereas he'll have Darcy Ford, who won his Earl Ross Cup in Season 2 on this very track. He'll start 14th in his number 64 Chevy. As we move on to row number 8, we got Mark Cox starting in 15th in his number 98 Ford. He'll have another Ford for company on the outside in the form of the number 29 of Jonathan Warr.
And to complete the starting grid here, we got 17th place series founder Daniel Cudmore, the number 2 Ford. He'll start alongside the number 93 Chevrolet of Tom Janikowski in 18th place, and then to end it off, of course, on the final row here. And yeah, that's a little bit of bad timing right there. The green flag is officially out, so we are underway at the Las Vegas 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but Dylan Baum and Mike Marini there starting on the final row, so of course we apologize there for a little bit of an awkward end off to the starting grid there, but we are underway at Las Vegas.
And kind of noteworthy there, Baum was going to be subject to the EOL anyway, so it looks like you just didn't put a time in qualifying and just kind of accepted it.
For sure, as now we hit lap 2 here, and I probably should put in on the ticker there that we are at Las Vegas. That'll definitely help out right there, but coming through turn 2 right now, Corbin McCauley leading the way in his number 17 Holland College Chevrolet. Jared Ireland following along back there in 2nd place. Matthew Paytek back there in 3rd, and then Scott Bailey looks as though he just got past C.D. Mangrum for 4th place right there, so good start from him. Mangrum falling back there from 3rd place. And as we now approach here on lap 3, Jordy, can you give us a little bit of facts and opinions that you have that come right off the bat into your mind for Las Vegas Motor Speedway?
Oh man, mile and a half. I mean, we're in Vegas, so it wouldn't be Vegas if it wasn't an entertaining race from start to finish, right? I mentioned from the top, or while we were going through the starting grid, I mentioned that Season 2's finale was right here at Las Vegas, and I remember that last lap showdown between Darcy Ford and Jonathan Peden. It was so good. It looked like Peden had it, and on the final lap, I believe, Ford pulled off the pass on turn 4 going into that final lap and just put on a defensive clinic. So that's instinctively my first memory of this particular speedway in the network's history, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the same level of fireworks here tonight, but especially when we return here at playoff time.
Indeed so, and I do remember fondly last year seeing Mike Nickens, former driver of the series, getting the job done in Las Vegas. He had a lot of success in the playoffs. The regular season was kind of on and off, but then he was able to come through in the playoffs with some great success there for sure. And we do know that this year we will be getting a fresh new winner for sure. We're obviously back in 2020, 2021 with Darcy Ford winning back-to-back. But now going back to this here on lap 6, McCauley's getting a bit of a challenge here soon maybe, as Jared Ireland is trying to come up on that rear bumper. But now Matthew Patek trying to use the high line to the advantage, and it looks as though he got a good exit right there in his number 21 NBR Motorsports Chevrolet right there. He's going to use the middle groove to get past Jared Ireland for second place.
Yeah, I hope we're not going to call him Captain Fish Stick here tonight with the highliner approach to begin, but it's worked out so far. As you say, moved up to second place, but keep an eye out for Scott Bailey there in fourth. He and Matthew Patak have been known to work together a little bit over the course of their time here in the Canadian eMotorsports Network. So if they happen to get together again via Bailey jumping Ireland, don't be surprised if they mount a bit of a 2-on-1 assault here on Corbin McCauley, unless, of course, Patak decides to make the move on his own here.
Well, he made the bump instead.
Close to that back bumper.
Yeah, made the bump there instead as they now head into turn 1. Patak really trying to use that middle groove. Now goes down low right there, trying to find some speed coming off the exit here of turn 2. I'm really noticing here the custom cameras are doing a very good job here at Las Vegas. I know Auto Club, especially with how hazy the weather was, it was a little bit of a different story, a little bit more awkward, but Las Vegas is really showing off here so far. And it's a bit of a 4-car breakaway I would see here. Ireland and Bailey following along behind McCauley and Patek, but back here, Kyle Knoll getting followed along from behind here, CD Magrum, and then there's a 33 of Jonathan Peden, who has been a Championship 4 runner-up the past 2 seasons. Mark Hawks with a bit of a moment right there coming off the apron, got a little loose, but he's able to keep his car, his number 98 Smarties Ford, going along with Darcy Ford there to his high side, trying to get over him for 9th place. The middle groove really taking advantage here so far in this race, although if we go back to Patek, he's really trying to do that, but McCauley, so far so good in the low groove, although it looks as though he might try to make a move here. No, not just yet. But again, that middle groove has been really been taken advantage by a lot of these drivers here so far.
And you want to talk about advantages for drivers, look no further than that battle you were just watching there a moment ago between Darcy Ford and Mark Cox. Ford started 14th, Cox 15th. They're both in the top 10 here, with Ford just making the move on Ty Higginbotham to get to 8th door-to-door.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, but there was contact between Ford and Higginbotham there coming off of turn 4. Thank goodness that didn't result in anything. It looked, oh my goodness, I thought Higginbotham was just about to try and make it 3 wide there with Cox there on the low line, but no, they'll separate and avoid any potential conflict there here on lap 11 of 134. And it looks as though we have a battle for the lead here. Patek really trying to use that middle groove, with McCauley still using his inside line, which he really did a lot back at Auto Club last week. So we're getting a very good battle here. Could Matthew Patek possibly shock everyone and possibly pull off a victory here tonight?
Again, I don't even know if it would be that much of a shock, because Matty Patak, he's been on great form here, well, especially last week at Auto Club, and we see him trying to use that kind of middle to high line again. But yeah, just to kind of expand on that point, he was toward the front for the majority of the events of last week. So yeah, don't be surprised to see him kind of in contention here toward the end, especially, again, given the kind of familiarity with Bailey there as well, able to strategize as well when it comes to the time for pit stops, as he does in fact take the lead now. So there you go, the 21's at the head of the field. But just to kind of wrap up that point there, as I say, I wouldn't be surprised to see Patak there at the end, because, again, they seem to find ways to kind of make it work, whether it's stretching out fuel, kind of making the tire wear work out in their favor. Yeah, don't be surprised if that 21 is competitive from, green flag to checkered.
Indeed so here, and looking back at this pack here, that's been putting on some pretty solid racing here. Justin Belmonte trying to make his way up through the field after that EOL penalty, considering the stuff that went on at Auto Club last week. Belmonte up to 12th place now, battling here on the inside of the number 10 of Jason Butler here. Belmonte will take advantage of 11th place as the field crosses here for lap 15. The stages for tonight's race are 40, 40, and 54, so within the next 10 to 15 laps, we could see a pit window open up. Seeing here CD Magrum on the inside, Jonathan Moore up on that high side right there. Michael Wolfer right in front. Magrum will try to get low on Wolfer, but it looks as though he won't be able to get to that just yet. Mostly single file through these cars here. Jonathan Moore and Andy Hurdle going at it right here. It looked like Moore may have had a bit of a moment on the high side. They're coming to trial. Well, Hurdle's going to slide up just a little bit, but he's able to keep the car straight. Hurdle, okay. War coming down a little bit right there on that right rear quarter panel. Still battling it out. War trying to use the high to middle groove there, but Hurdle is going to get away there on the low side. So some good racing right there for sure. And then right back to the lead. It looks as though McCauley has taken an advantage back as Paytech holds second place there. Jared Ireland trying to now put in a fight himself up here for the lead. But 16 laps into this race so far into this first stage. I mean, so far so good. We've been seeing some pretty solid racing here throughout the field. Drivers taking advantage of multiple grooves. And again, Las Vegas is one of those tracks. It was just like Auto Club last week where we're really seeing the drivers' raw talent and skills come out. Because again, we started off the season in Daytona, so that was a bit of a different story. Literally anything could happen there. But now we're getting into a bit of a rhythm with tracks where we're seeing these drivers really have their skills come out, and we're seeing them take advantage of everything possible that there is.
Yeah, and we talked about, saying anything could happen at Daytona. It felt like anything did happen at Auto Club in Stage 3 in particular last week. First two stages last week were very clean. This looks like it's following a similar trend here so far at least. But again, I'll be interested to see what the strategies look like throughout the field, particularly as it relates to more the chase pack, I guess, as opposed to the top four, because eventually some of these guys are going to have to reel this top four in, and it may take pit lane to do so.
For sure. And now looking at the timing screen here, there's a lot of battles that have been going on back and forth from what I am seeing there. Here's Hunter Young in number 77 on the high side, number 29 of Jonathan War. Once again, there looks like Young will be able to use that middle groove line. Maybe not. No, not yet. It looks like he got a little bit loose up there. And War is now going to come down on the low side right there. Looking through the rest of the field here, Justin Belmonte still really making his way up here very calmly and quietly so far. Again, he's been told to take a quiet, or he's mentioned in post-race interviews after his 2 wins here in the last 2 weeks. He likes to take a conservative approach, but again, he's been to victory lane twice. Obviously, there were penalties last week, but again, he still managed to get the job done with those 2 wins, off to a pretty solid debut here in his Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR series in his inaugural season. I believe I may have just heard cheering from the other side of my room here. I think your team may have just done a thing.
I was about to say I saw the polar opposite. I was about to say it's been, so far this season, Belmonte 2, Field 0. At the time, it was Panthers 2, Leafs 0, but it looks like, the Leafs have their first, and a certain Matthew Nyes may have his first there as well. Anyway, that's your in-race other sport update. Let's get back to the racing. I'm your update desk tonight.
Yeah, basically, I'm using three monitors right here to have this broadcast officially happen. Maybe if I had like an extra TV monitor up on the side there, that would make sense. But of course, we probably shouldn't try and get ourselves distracted from this racing here. You can really see the gap that is going on here. Okay, yeah, Matthew Paytech actually down in pit lane, so that's why I was seeing a bunch of maneuvering on the timing screen. And there's also Scott Bailey there as well on the pit lane, and we'll toggle the pit stop times very quickly here. Corbin McCauley now coming in as well. If it would let me get to him.
Also part of that trio.
If it would let me get to him on the timing screen, because I'm seeing drivers just drop and like, blah, 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 and I'm trying to click on them, but then it's just my mouse is not letting it, and I keep trying and trying. But anyways, yeah, we saw Bailey and Paytech coming down the pit lane. Now here's McCauley here in this first stall right behind the pace car. Hello to the face there with the sunglasses in there. Macaulay just went straight through the vehicle. That is very tragic, if that's a way to put it. But anyways, right back to this course.
Hooray for game physics.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's definitely better than NASCAR Heat 5, whatever we had the past 3 years.
The gremlins.
Yes, all the technical gremlins. But here on lap 25, Jared Ireland's now going to dip his way on the pit lane, and he had a bit of a loose moment right there, drifting his way down, but that was impressive.
Fast 10 in theaters near you soon.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a bit of a moment back there from, I couldn't recognize who that was. I might be able to if we can check. It's Jason Butler. I'll have to see what may have just happened with him right there. He hit the pit cone. And he even jumped his pit stall too. That's not looking good there.
Impressive balance on that car as the, adjustments are happening.
Indeed so. Jared Ireland now coming off the pit lane right there.
I will say, though, I am impressed that Jason Butler's managed to procure about half a dozen John Cena's to be his pit crew.
Haha, invisible jokes right there. So, he's actually still in the lane there. I wonder if he may have gotten a speeding penalty.
Possibly, but again, the tires and whatever adjustments happened before would be the other way around, no?
So I just got the confirmation there. Yes, Jason Butler is under penalties, so that's why he's going 3 laps down now, so that's not good to see from him.
Yeah, nowhere fast there in that pit lane, which reminds me, we should check in on former Loyal Thieves band member Dan Cudmore there. Looks like he's made a move up to 9th place. Maybe pit stops coming into play as well for the number 2 Ford and series founder.
And would you look at that? Yeah, you keep going.
No, I was just going to say, obviously a solid debut there last week to finish in the top 10. It looks like he's running right around there once again. And, yeah, kind of highest position he's been on the grid so far. And he's kind of worked his way up the field here a little bit. You see lowest position here, 20th. And no, it's not like heat. I thought I saw maybe a little bit of a front end, but I think he's all good to go there. So anyway, back to you, Riggs.
All right, then now he's going to come down the pit lane there. That'll definitely drop him a couple positions there. But I was noticing there with this paint scheme, he is sponsoring his brother's business there, Cudmore Design from Cody Cudmore. So nice to see there, a very solid scheme with the green and the white. Good stuff to see from the series founder, of course. And like you said, he had a very solid debut at Auto Club with the top 10. And now going back here through the field, Dylan Baum is now going to come down the pit lane. So is CD Magram as well. And it looks as though a couple other cars here too. Ty Higginbottom actually just coming off the pit lane. Jonathan Peden as well. Michael Wolfer coming through turn 1 there, trying to see if I can find anyone else that's coming down. I saw cars behind him. Okay, there is Magram. Can't really get a good look of who else is there. Okay, now there we go. It's Tom Janikowski, and again, I am not having a good time recognizing cars right now. I don't know if it's camera angles or my vision's just not good. I am literally wearing glasses.
I wonder if maybe there's alternate paint schemes in play there as well. You mentioned it with Dan Cudmore, so at least there's one. So there may be some others in play there, as well as we definitely know that's the 77 of Hunter Young in pit lane.
Indeed, he's led 2 laps here, but again, that's because he hadn't pitted just yet. Lowest position of 17th. He'll be coming out the pit lane there, and now looking back onto the track, Scott Bailey will now be the leader with Matthew Patak about a 1.2 seconds behind right there. McCauley in third place. It's lap 33 out of 134, so the stage will be coming to an end here very, very soon. Lap 40 will be the ending there. I wonder if Bailey
and of note in that particular case, sorry to jump in, Bailey and Paytak both pitted 1 lap ahead of Corbin McCauley, so it looks like the earlier pit stop, or the undercut if you will, appears to be the stronger strategy, at least in the early going.
Yes, sir. And then here's Paytek trying to get past the lap car of Tom Janikowski, who is 1 lap down. And again, we were talking about Cudmore being in a solid 9th place position. He's actually now a lap down in second to last, so not good to see there for him. But then again, though, it's only stage 1. There's still plenty of time for things to happen. Here's McCauley and Knoll back here in 3rd and 4th place right here. Still, McCauley got the pole, but it looks as though he will still get some solid stage points as he actually goes up the track here coming off of turn 2. Kyle Knoll will try to take advantage and go for 3rd place here to get on the podium. And Jared Ireland following right behind. Through turns 3 and 4. Scott Bailey still leading the way in his number 88 Chevrolet. On lap 36 now.
Yeah, some separation there between Paytak and Knoll in 3rd. Knoll in 3rd. What happened to McCauley there to make him fall to 4th?
Wonder if I know it was back in stage 1 at Auto Club last week. It seemed as though McCauley was actually, he began to struggle a little bit towards the end of the stage. He did pretty solid the first time around, but then after that late pit window in stage 1, he just started falling off right there. He still managed a good stage finish. I believe it was 3rd or 4th, but maybe it's just a setup thing once again. Something to do with having, what would the term be? Having newer tires? Fresher tires?
It could be, but I mean, Bailey and Paytak ahead don't appear to be having any problems. You saw Jared Ireland sail past as well for 4th place, along with the lapped car of Dan Cudmore, trying to work his way back onto the lead lap, kind of sandwiched in between Ireland, and that may actually be, is that Knoll ahead or is that Mangrum?
Oh,
Cudmore, I thought that was, I don't know if he's aware of the battle happening around him there, but I guess he's going to take that line, trying to get out of the way.
I mean, he wants to be a little bit racy too. Here is okay, they are going 3. I thought Ireland was going to squeeze it through 3 wide in the middle. That probably wouldn't have been smart to do here, but Cudmore wants to be racy even though he's a lap down. I think he actually may have gotten a little bit loose there too, but
the deuce is wild in Vegas here tonight, Riggs.
Indeed, Viva Las Vegas, baby. That's the way to put it. But coming around off of turn 4 here, we're going to see Scott Bailey come to the start-finish line, and we're going to be at 1 lap to go in stage 1 on lap 40 out of 134. And it looks like Bailey's just clear as day on his way to the victory, as Matthew Paytak about 1.5 seconds there behind, battling the, well, not battling, but you know what I mean with the lap car of Tom Janikowski there in 18th place. So coming through turns 3 and 4, the number 88 NBR Motorsports Chevrolet took a hiatus last year, but he returned after some solid seasons in 2020 and 2021. Scott Bailey will come across the line, take the green checkered flag, and he will get the job done here in stage 1. Scott Bailey, stage 1 winner of the Las Vegas 200.
Yeah, and just a classy performance there from the 88. Again, started in the top 5 once Justin Belmonte's EOL penalty was accounted for. And again, ultimately had the better strategy. He, along with Matthew Paytak there with the earlier pit stop. And yeah, ultimately that wound up being the catalyst for them to jump into the top 2 spots. And yeah, kudos to the 88 and 21 for picking up some big points here in stage 1.
Indeed so, and trying to look back here at the race results from each race, just trying to get some stats here on Scott Bailey. Bailey scored 1 stage point at Daytona with 10th place, but then stage 2 he wasn't able to get anything, and then at Auto Club, looking at those results, Scott Bailey finished second in both of the first two stages, and then he went on to finish 10th. So definitely getting better and better here heading into Las Vegas. So good stuff from him, of course, in this first stage. Getting the victory. Lap car staying out on the track, and we will have a bunch of cars coming down the pit lane on this in this caution period. Thoughts on that one, Jordy?
Oh, I didn't know if we were muted or still going. Yeah, we'll see a little bit of a shift in the field, it would appear, just based on the pit stops. A couple of 3 wide instances as we see the pit lane exit. Yeah, we're seeing Scott Bailey make his way out. It looks like Dylan Baum may have stayed out here, so going from the back of the pack to the head of the pack here to start stage 2, it appears will be the case for the number 3. And it looks like Dan Cudmore got his lap back. Jason Butler, not so lucky. I think he was 2 laps down to end stage 1. Just 1 lap down to begin this middle frame here. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everything kind of shakes out from this point forward. We'll see how the restart goes.
Indeed so, Dylan Baum leading the way. 6 laps led, has the lowest position of last. I mean, he did have the UL whole penalty, of course, too. So they come along the front stretch here, and then let's take a look here at the weather info for today's race. Mostly cloudy, 22 degrees Celsius air temperature, 33 degrees Celsius track temperature. No humidity whatsoever, wind speed 15 kilometers an hour, or 14. It's literally just going to shift different numbers. This entire race is the way it goes, and the wind direction going to the west at the moment. And look at the race summary here so far. 1 caution, of course, being for the stage break, 3 laps under caution. We've had 7 lead changes, and we've had 6 different leaders. Scott Bailey with the fastest time here so far after, again, scored the stage 1 victory, and he's also got the fastest car in this race so far tonight with a 30.178 at 181.6 miles per hour. So some very good stuff here from the number 88 so far.
Indeed so. And yeah, just kind of referencing, again, that track temperature. Again, you mentioned 33 there earlier. A little bit cooler than Auto Club last week, where it started in the 40s, I believe. So again, that could potentially lend itself to tires taking a little bit longer to get up to speed. Obviously, the warmer track would help that a little bit more at the expense of wear. But again, it could be a dicey opening lap or two in some cases here, depending on, setups. Obviously those aren't changed all that much, as it appears Dan Cudmore is going to be going through on the Lucky Dog Pass.
So he'll get right back on the lead lap right there, as it looks as though the field will be likely going back to green for stage 2 this time around. We'll wait to see when the pace car rolls off. But yes, Dylan Baum staying out. He'll be leading the field back to green with Scott Bailey, the stage 1 winner, on the high side. Matthew Patek and Corbin McCauley there in the second row there. Michael Wolford and Kyle Noel there between 5th and 6th. Jared Ireland and Justin Belmonte there behind them. Belmonte making his way up after, of course, the OL penalty. He is still looking to remain in contention and remain a part of the headlines after those first 2 races. Again, in the history of the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, we have not yet seen a driver score 3 victories in a row. We've seen drivers get 2 victories in a row, but not one of them in history has gotten 3 in a row. Jordy, do you think his chances here tonight are, do you think the possibility is there, or is it maybe not really there?
I mean, it's one of those things where, you kind of have to see it to believe it, but I'll expand on my thoughts afterward, as it looks like we're about to go green again.
I don't know what happened there to my words there. I didn't really have a full-on dictionary kind of saying the same words. But anyways, right back to green here for stage 2 in the Las Vegas 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on lap 46 at a 1:34. Dylan Baum leading the way as the field will now come off turn 2. Matthew Patak and Corbin McCauley getting right past Scott Bailey for second and third place. And there's trouble.
Yeah,
Matthew Patak.
Somebody somebody bailing out there for sure on that kind of inside lane, so to speak. But yeah, let's just see. It looks like Baum's gotten off to a pretty good start here. Look at the gap he's pulled out just in one lap.
Okay, so Scott
there's
Bailey.
Contact on the wall. Bailey hits.
Yeah, it was Bailey that got into the wall right there. We'll very quickly go back and just make sure to see what happened here. Patak, okay. Yeah, Patak got up into the outside wall, then Bailey did. Kyle Nolan and Corbin McCauley doing a great job of getting past and avoiding any more chaos right there. And now we'll get back to live action here. Ty Higginbottom there using the very high line, the Kyle Larson line, through turns 3 and 4. But there's a lot of jostling here back and forth as Dylan Baum, who didn't pit right there with everyone else, leading the way by a far margin. Kyle Noel also getting away after some great avoidance there. Matthew Patak still in the wall. Justin Belmonte will go to the inside there down this back straightaway into 4th place. Darcy Ford is now going to try and fight up into the top 5. This second stage has definitely gotten off to an interesting start with 2 cars into a wall, but surprisingly and thankfully for these drivers, no one's been fully spinning. No one's been wrecking. We're still going.
And I wonder if that speaks to the point that I was making before about the tires on the cars that all came into pit lane during the caution, just taking that little bit longer to warm up, Dylan Baum staying out, and, maybe a little bit more grip here in the early going with the warmer tire kind of layout, so to speak. Don't be surprised if the field eventually comes back to the 3, but for the time being, it looks like Dylan Baum's kind of gotten through everything unscathed here so far, Reeks.
Indeed so, and definitely a good thing for him. Definitely some heart attacks there to start off the stage, but we're still green. We're still going. We definitely don't want to have a repeat of what happened last week at Auto Club, because the first 2 stages were as clean, as competitive as they could be, and then the 3rd stage we couldn't even go green for at least more than 2 or 3 laps on average, sometimes not even 1. But so far here, we're able to keep things going. Dylan Baum still leading the way by about half a second here over Kyle Noel, the rookies leading the way. And then there's Justin Belmonte trying to become the 3rd one here up on the high side against Corbin McCauley here. Belmonte and McCauley have been the 2 top headline drivers here through the first 2 rounds of this 4th season of Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series Racing. And they're showing here they want to continue putting on that battle that we will definitely be seeing through the rest of this season.
And as Belmonte makes the pass on that middle groove on McCauley for 3rd, that seems like a good time to go back to the point that I was making.
Whoa, a loose moment back there.
Not.
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe that was Jonathan Peden with an incredible save, and Jonathan Moore going up the track barely in front on the front bumper of Hunter Young, almost got him going sideways. But a couple of heart attacks going on the backstretch right there.
Wars in New Yorkers, but that was a case of Yikers Island right there. That was close, Riggs.
Wow. Go back another 5 cents. Okay, Hurl up there into Pete. Oh my goodness. How did his rear end not touch the wall right there?
I mean, he listened to Lil Jon a little bit. He got low to the wall, but just didn't touch.
Very lucky for Peden there. An awesome wheel job there, too. And we'll get right back into this live. Dylan Baum leading the way on lap 54 at 1:34. Still plenty of time away from the ending of stage 2. Kyle Noel slowly starting to catch up. Yeah, those 3 cars behind Baum are starting to catch up, as Noel's about 0.3 behind. Noel about just over half a second. Belmonte and McCauley trying to catch up there, too. Mark Cox here rounding out the top 5 in his number 98 Smarties car. Scott Bailey, the stage 1 winner, right behind. It looks as though he might have a little bit of front end damage on his 88 car. He does. It's squeezed into the it's crushed right in the middle almost.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be a surprise given the kind of bailouts that Bailey's had to endure here early on in this second stage. But performance-wise, he's hanging in there in sixth, trying to fight off Mark Cox, trying to get back into the top five. But as I mentioned earlier, don't be surprised if the field starts to reel in Dylan Baum. It's happening as we speak.
Actually, Baum might have gotten a bit of an advantage there because now we're seeing a battle for second place between Belmonte and Knoll. McCauley falling back to fourth. Or he may have already been there. But Belmonte really getting close there with Kyle Knoll. Coming to turn four, and there's trouble in the back. They're crashing. Scott Bailey and Mark Cox.
Got a little smoky there.
And the caution's out. I believe I would argue that was long overdue with how many heart attacks we were seeing there early in the second stage.
Yeah, you have to wonder a little bit there, Riggs, as you say. It felt like kind of a matter of time before something happened. Let's take another look.
Okay, Cox right into the back of Bailey, hard into the outside wall in the rear end, but they're able to keep it straight. Hunter Young doing a good job there, going through down on the apron. Try to get a different look here. Yeah, Cox just up the track into the left rear quarter panel. Bailey right around, hard in the wall. Very close-up angle right there.
Yeah,
not good.
The contact, courtesy of the Smarties car, that's got to smart a little bit for the 88. If you remember, he got into the back of, was it Marini or Janikowski last week? Also hard contact.
I know Janikowski was involved, but I don't know for sure off of the memory. But indeed a hard hit there for Scott Bailey as we'll get right back to the field here as everyone will head down. A lot of cars will be heading down the pit lane.
Well, we're in Vegas now. Riggs, what are the odds on, any of the cars involved using that fast repair that's available to them?
Oh, Bailey, I would think will be using it for sure. I don't know about Mark Cox exactly. But we'll have to wait and see here as everyone comes off the pit lane. McCauley looks to be the first one off. Mark Cox is actually leading the way after that incident. I'm sure he'll be coming down this time around, I would assume. And we'll step back for a couple seconds here just so I get a little bit of context just to make sure things are going well. All right, and then now unmuted here once again, Mark Cox coming down the pit lane here. We'll try to get that fast repair on. I would assume you will probably be able to tell here his car might not look as wrinkled up whenever he gets out of his pit stall. We'll have to see if that visual is indeed something that we can see.
And yeah, that's definitely going to have an impact on him here. Riggs looks like he's fallen all the way down to 17th, if I had that right on my screen. But again, he started, I believe, 15th tonight, so he's very much capable of making his way through the field. Don't be surprised to see MC making an impact potentially here before the end of the night.
Indeed so, and now looking back to the front of the field here, McCauley will be leading the way with Paytech in second place, Dylan Baum in third. Dylan Baum doing a really good job there beginning the second stage after not pitting with everyone else at the ending of the first stage. He's led 21 laps, currently third, highest position of first, lowest position, of course, 20th after the EOL at the start of the race. McCauley here has also actually led the same amount of laps here if I'm looking between the two drivers. 21 laps led, lowest position of 14th. Paytech's got 2 laps led, Lowest position of 18th. Belmonte hasn't led a lap yet, but he's really making a fast charge here through the field after also having an EOL, just like Dylan Baum. But yeah, the two drivers starting the race with an EOL, they're right up here now at the front, and they're really putting on a battle against these veterans, especially a guy like McCauley. It was basically 3 rookies and 1 veteran there going for it before we had the incident between Scott Bailey and Mark Cox. The ticker dot doesn't go off, it's the driver info. But lap 60 at 134 here, we'll be going back to green with 20, by the looks of it, 20 laps remaining in the second stage. And judging by the number of close calls that we had to begin the second stage, I can only imagine that we might see a couple more here off of this restart, considering how the racing's been. I would think the drivers would be praying not to have that happen.
And again, everyone coming in presumably with some new tires in play. We've seen perhaps some issues with grip here in some of the other stages, particularly, the kind of hairy nature of how stage 2 started. So we'll have to see if anything happens here as the pace car dives off, and we're going green again. Back to you, Riggs.
Indeed, the second stage back underway under green. McCauley, bit of a good jump start right there on lap 61 and 134. 20 laps to go in the second stage, and there's trouble. Daniel Cudmore, just past the start-finish line, goes around.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that
blew the engine.
Self-inflicted, it appears.
He may have done some weird shifting there. The car just may have blown up, and indeed, so it looks like he blew the engine. Wow.
Yeah, that is a, what's the nice way to put this as we go back to...
Oh, and there's trouble! Down through the tri-oval, Michael Wolford around. That's also Tom Janikowski and Jason Butler.
And you got a very clear picture of that yellow flag. It's out again.
Jason Butler, I don't know if he fully spun around, but he definitely was involved in that one. But 2 incidents going on right there. Daniel Cudmore may have blown his engine after maybe a mistake through his shifting. But we'll have to go back and see here what happened. That was, okay, not a little bit too much time. Okay, this is definitely going to be a lot better. We'll take the ticker off. Just some 3-wide action. Hunter Young up the track. Wolford kind of panicked. And from there, yeah, into Janikowski. Butler did fully spin around, but he was able to get it back straight. Try to see if we can get a better angle. There we go. That'll be much better as they come off of turn 4. Okay, Noel made contact with Butler, and then Wolfer went down into Janikowski. So not good to see there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that from Butler's perspective there, particularly that bump on the quarter panel. Not sure if he was kind of propelled in there or just kind of ran out of room with the 36. But, yeah, certainly an interesting development here again. Oh, yeah, just kind of got a little bit squeezed there, it would appear. Maybe a little bit of contact off of this onboard that kind of got him into Wolford there in the first place. Yeah, you see Ireland diving down the track as well. That kind of limited Butler's room to maneuver. Winds up into that back quarter panel. And, yeah, we'll just have to see how things progress from here. Yeah, it was Kyle Knowles on board that we were seeing before.
I don't know if I would call that Butler going up the track, or maybe Knowles slightly came down at the same time and that was a racing incident. Now it's kind of hard to tell.
I'd probably lean a little bit more in that direction. I wouldn't say there's anything kind of inherently malicious about that. Again, I think it's just guys getting a little bit too close. Again, same case from Auto Club last week. Multiple grooves, multiple guys trying different things. If the wires get crossed in different places, things like this happen.
Indeed so, and it seems as like we're kind of getting Auto Club, but a little bit earlier in this one. Now it's the second stage where we're getting some action here. The first stage went just perfectly. It was some solid racing, and we saw the pit window provide some interesting strategies and some good storylines there. But through the second stage here so far, there were a couple heart attacks early on, and then we had that. Then we had Daniel Cudmore, of course, having a bit of a smoke issue there. He's still on the pit lane. We see Tom Janikowski there as well. And then, of course, the incident involving Butler and Wolford and Knoll. Janikowski, obviously, again. So, yeah, just good old chaos, you know?
Indeed, and I think that was Wolford potentially going into pit lane in the background there, that last shot, just based on the timing there as well. Obviously, the gap kind of expanding significantly there. Or was it Ireland maybe? Even
That's
going
Ireland.
in a lap down.
That would be Ireland on the pit lane. Now he is 1 lap down. Butler is 2 laps down. Cudmore is now coming back out. Do fast repairs count with blown engines? How does that work?
I was going to say, you're kind of deploying a not-so-fast repair there.
Huh. But I guess in other words, it's a good thing to see him still in this race, although he is 3 laps down. But there is still plenty of time for things to shake up. If we continue to get restarts where we get incidents, he may end up eventually get that opportunity to be the lucky dog. He'll just have to stay conservative and patient, as other cars may end up continue wrecking, although we would like to hope and pray, just like the drivers, that stuff like that doesn't continue to happen, but it might be inevitable. But anyways, and then Tom Janikowski's still in the pit lane in his pit box, 5 laps down, and then right back to the tri-oval here, as everyone will begin to double file. Corbin McCauley leading the way with Dylan Baum in 2nd place, Matthew Patek 3rd, Justin Belmonte 4th, Scott Bailey rounding out the top 5 with C.D. Mangrum and Ty Higginbottom there right behind him, Hurdle, Peden, and there's a guy we haven't seen yet in the top 10, never mind, in 11th technically, but there's a guy that we haven't seen really in this race or even talked about just yet. That would be the number 12 of Mike Marini, who hasn't obviously led any laps yet. He's been kind of stuck in behind the top 10, more of a top 15 driver in a way. Highest position of 4th place, though, assuming the Stage 1 pit window had a play in that. But Marini looks like he's slowly trying to find his way into a groove for a top 10 position.
Indeed so, and again, in Marini's case, he's effectively fought from the back row of the field to get into, again, his kind of 10th/11th positioning here now, but he's a guy who's, not afraid to take a chance here on any of these tracks. He's a guy with, a history of, definitely fighting for every single inch on the track, and a guy who's well known for also, having just a dynamite 1-lap pace as the pace car peels off once again.
Indeed it does, and we are going to be going back to green here once again in Stage 2. Dylan Baum off to a bit of a weird start on the outside there. C.D. Mangrum's going to try and make it 3 wide on the high line on lap 67 and 134 of this Las Vegas 200. So Mangrum trying to take advantage there, but he's actually going to fall back as McCauley will pull away. Dylan Baum there on the high side with that'd be Scott Bailey, I believe, there on the inside as the cars go down the back straightaway into turn 3. Dylan Baum there on the high to middle groove right there. Belmonte trying to use the middle as they come through the tri-oval for lap 68. Almost contact there, I believe, between Baum and Belmonte. Baum really going all over the place between multiple groups here. Hasn't really decided on a permanent area just yet. He'll go to the inside. Belmonte trying to use that middle groove right there as he slots into 4th place. And some battles going on back here. It's 3 wide. Cox, and that would be Marini and Knoll, yes. But they're able to figure things out. Knoll up the track. Contact with Cox, but they're able to keep going. Keep it straight. Still side by side, Cox and Knoll through the tri-oval into turn 1 on lap 69 to 134. Nice.
You beat me to it.
Oh. Nice. Still some really close racing here in Mark Cox's area of vision. Looks like there's close racing there between Hunter Young and Jonathan War coming off of turn 4. And that right back up to the lead cars here. Dylan Baum still in 2nd place. Matthew Patek making his way up to 3rd with Justin Belmonte right behind there. in that middle group. Belmonte will transition to the inside now, trying to take away third place from Paytech. It looks like we're still getting some intense racing, but it is definitely a little bit calmer than the previous 2 restarts or whatever that we had been seeing. Some double file action here. Kyle Knoll still going at it with several drivers. Looks like Cox has fallen back right there. Knoll and Ford battling it out for 10th place with Hurdle in 9th there, trying to dive down. Oh, and there's contact. Bailey's going to go around again. No, they're keeping it straight. Big saves. Wow.
Yeah, Bailey again not having to bail out that time. Kyle Knoll maybe getting a bit of an early Christmas present there by keeping things clean. But Hunter Young very much in the mix there on that outside line. Some really tight battling here, and
we're
looking at yet another 3 wide.
Indeed so. We can't have onboard cameras for a 3 wide action here. Marini sliding on that inside groove. Hurdle had to back off, and now it's going to be back to side by side right there. And it looks like not much else is really going on right there. I'm going to try and get back as much as I possibly can to what happened there. Okay, a little bit more. We'll try and get him down through the tri-oval. Get a good angle of what happened here. Through turns 1, 2. Yeah, Hurdle just made contact. The left rear quarter panel of Bailey. Kyle Knoll even had to save it right there as well. Darcy Ford, I think, had to as well. But what matters here is they were able to keep it going. That's what matters the most. And so far, so good.
So.
Yeah, McCauley leading the way here off of turn 4. Dylan Baum trying to catch up at 0.2 behind. And there's still some action going on back here with Andy Hurdle and Kyle Knoll on the inside. And then to the high side, you got Marini. And then Cox behind there. It's actually Andy Hurdle in front of them. And there's one car down on the apron right there. That's Tom Janikowski finally coming back onto the track. He's 13 laps down. Daniel Cudmore is 3 laps down. Butler at 2. Ireland's at 1. And
he's driving the unlucky 13, but he might be in lucky dog position here at the end of the stage.
Indeed so, as it's lap 75, 134. We're at 6 laps remaining until the end of the second stage. We're going to have a potential battle here for the stage win. Dylan Baum shooting to the inside of McCauley, looking to continue the run he's had since the beginning of the second stage. McCauley using the middle group. Belmonte going to try and get there. Ooh, close call there. Belmonte going to try and use a draft off of McCauley to get the advantage entering turn 1. But it's going to be a 3-car battle here with 5 laps to go in the second stage.
Yeah, and it looks like they've pushed out a pretty formidable gap over Paytak, Mangrum, and Higginbotham here that, well, really just Paytak and Mangrum, that secondary group trying to get back to the head of the field, but it's basically just those two trying to make the move as these 3 continue pushing forward.
And Belmonte's going to get to the inside off of turn 4 here against McCauley, looking to gain an extra stage point right there. 4 laps remaining in the second stage of the Las Vegas 200. McCauley's going to drop in behind Belmonte on the inside. Dylan Baum looks like he's going to kind of get away here unless Belmonte's able to figure out a run here. Belmonte and McCauley continue to battle in second place. That's only going to cause the number 3 Toyota to just keep pushing forward and forward. And that would be the number 3 Team 44 racing car from Barwick, North Dakota. So 2 rookies here in the top 2, and then you got McCauley here in 3rd, C.D. Magrum here in 4th place. Good stuff from him. Matthew Paytak in 5th. There's the defending series champion, Ty Higginbotham. We're going to keep calling him with that term all the way up until the end of the season, of course. Jonathan Beaton 7th. Darcy Ford has been able to keep his car straight after a couple of heart attacks earlier in the stage in his number 64 Wing Snob car. Andy Hurdle and Kyle Knoll wrap up the top 10. Mark Cox really trying to fight against Kyle Knoll to get that 1 stage point. Again, it's only 1 point, but that 1 point still could matter as the season goes on. Don't underestimate any stage points, even if it's only 1.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did we see those close calls, especially when it got to playoff time there last season, especially, Reeks? Felt like a lot.
Oh, yeah, definitely did, and looks like the top 3 are just kind of keep where they're at now, but we're going to get to the white flag for this second stage here. And it was not
Hey,
nice.
screen share.
Yeah, not nice to get a notification there and then have my iRacing screen pop up there. People are going to find out private information about me now. But as the field comes around turns 3 and 4, off of turn 4, the second stage is going to go to the rookie, number 3, Dylan Baum. We'll take the green checkered flag with Justin Belmonte finishing second. Corbin McCauley will claim third. Magrum 4th, Higginbottom 5th, Paytex 6th, Peden 7th, Darcy Ford in 8th, Andy Hurdle 9th, and it looks as though Hunter Young is actually going to take the 10th position. I'm going to go back a little bit just to see if there was any potential battling here. If anything, see if anything may have happened. No, it looks like, okay, there were definitely some battles going on. There was contact. Cox and Knoll rubbing cars down the entire back straightaway. Not even going for any stage points here, still going at it. And then as they come to the start-finish line, Cox holds on for the 11th position. But, yeah, Knoll got loose. And then he just went right back up there. I don't know what happened there. Still trying to see if something may have happened earlier. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah,
oh, no, there was contact. Wow.
I was about to say all's fair in love and war, but Jonathan Ward didn't benefit. But, yeah, you see right before that, just that little bit of contact. I guess that looked like more Young from the back as opposed to Cox as we take another look. Oh, no, it's Cox. My mistake.
It looks like it is. I'm going to try and maybe get one more angle to see if maybe... Was Cox the one that went up the track, or did Knoll come down? Okay, no. Knoll with a bit of a weird maneuver there. I think Cox went up at the exact same time there, so... That one could have some different opinions, maybe.
Yeah, surrounded by a couple of purple people eaters there, and we'll see what kind of... damage comes out of that. Of course, we are in the stage caution here now, so if there's time to make adjustments and fixes, this would be ideal.
Indeed so, and of course those... Okay, before I get into what I was saying there, wow. A photo finish between those two drivers there, Belmonte and McCauley off the pit lane. Looks like Belmonte barely is going to beat him. And I'll try to go back here and see if we can maybe... get a easier look right here. Only barely. Maybe a little bit too slow right there, but we will see them coming off the pit lane here, of course, and just barely. Dylan Baum almost getting in there as well.
Man, what a great look from our friends at Track Cams 22 there, eh?
Indeed so. Whenever this third stage begins, I will hope to goodness that I won't have anything jinxed as what happened. Of course, what happened at Auto Club was I wanted to honor them with something in particular that we will hopefully eventually get to, but as per usual for every race. But no, Stage 3 decided to give us a bunch of restarts where we only had maybe 1 or 2 laps of green flag racing, and then we had to wait all the way until like 15 laps to go, so hopefully we'll see how the first couple laps of this third stage go, and then eventually we'll be able to give TrackCams22.com the shout-out that they deserve. And I guess in a way, the way to put it would be they legally need.
Yeah, the not contractually obligated mention, but certainly, very much appreciated to add that, additional level of production quality on top of what iRacing was already providing as we made the move to this new era. But just adding that component to it as well, it has been, well, not to borrow from the cars itself, but it's been, next generation, next level, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's a heck of a lot better than what we had the past 3 years. I'll say that for sure. It doesn't mean I'm not grateful for any of it, or any of us are not. But again, you just got to move on, and we end up moving on to the greatest thing ever. But other than that, of course, before we get to Track Cams 22 and what we got to do with them, we'd like to shout out our other 5 sponsors that help contribute and keep us going here at the Canadian Motorsports Network and for the NASCAR series here in Season 4. We'd like to thank our sponsors here, Holland Hurricanes, Kyle's Fried Chicken, Rampage Coffee Co., Wing Snob, and of course, a combination of a team and race team for the series and a sponsor, GTR. And the cars are doubling up right here, so it looks as though they will be going back to green for this third and final stage. It'll be probably around 50 laps, I would think now. It's a 54-lap stage, but these caution laps have been definitely dwindling it down. It won't be 54. It'll probably be more around 50 laps to the finish, which is still plenty more, about over 10 laps more than we've had in the first two stages, of course, both being 40 laps each. But as the cars come down the back straightaway here, Justin Belmonte leading the way in a bit of a photo finish there over Corbin McCauley as everyone exited the pit lane. Dylan Baum almost getting that photo finish, but he comes out in third. CD Magram there in fourth place. Ty Higginbottom running at the top five, and then the rest of the way is just Paytech, Peden, Hurdle, Cox, and Hunter Young.
And yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets the jump off of the line here, as we expect the pace car to come in this time around. Let's see, maybe one more. Nope, there it goes.
Indeed it does, and we're going to be going back to green here for this third and final stage of the Las Vegas 200. It'll be lap 86 of 134, back to green. Justin Belmonte leading the way into turn one.
Man, what a jump from the 6.
Indeed so, in that Mark Martin throwback style car. Always a pleasure to see those kind of cars, but Baum and McCauley getting very close there off of turn 2. Everyone rolling down the back straightaway here. McCauley taking the advantage over Baum at most cars on the inside. CD Magram trying to use that middle groove to take advantage and maybe get a good exit versus Dylan Baum. As everyone makes it through the tri-oval successfully, mostly single file racing, except for a little bit of stuff going on in the back there. Belmonte leading the way. McCauley trying to get up close on that rear bumper there. You go ahead.
No, I was literally just going to say, clean start so far, which has been, a bit of a blessing here as we, kind of see who's going to go all in here in stage 3. Back to you.
Indeed so, and there's going to be contact there through turn 4 between Kyle Knoll and Hunter Young. Looks as though they're going to be able to keep it going. And hoping that something doesn't happen here towards the back of the field, we're going to step back here and once again shout out TrackCams22.com for providing us these incredible custom cameras that enhance the broadcast and only make it so much better, so much more professional, and just fantastic looking. So we will shout them out here with a good old crank it up. we'll get back right here as there was some contact there involving Jonathan War. But that was the Track Cams 22. Crank it up. We thank you very much, Track Cams 22. You can see in slow motion there, contact between War and Kyle Knoll. And the caution's out, actually.
Yeah, I don't necessarily remember that being how the Art of War played out. I don't know if you've read the book, but I don't think that was the ending that was intended there, as, yeah, Jonathan War, as I don't know if we'll get another look at that, but certainly another yellow here in the third stage, but certainly not the night the number 29 has wanted so far, to say the very least.
We'll go all the way back right here and try to get a replay of what exactly happened. Okay, something else may have actually happened. Oh, Daniel Cudmore's around in the back too. So, okay, stuff has definitely happened here. I'm really trying to find the source of it.
Man, he's had a bit of a night, hasn't he?
Okay, it's in front of them. Oh, Dylan Baum went around. Wow. We'll get back here in turn 2 to see what may have happened, and I forgot to turn the ticker off there for the replay. But we'll take a look at Diane TV. Oh, Andy Hurdle. Baum came down on Hurdle, and then he just shifted away from the left rear quarter panel, and a hard hit, or right rear, whatever it was, hard hit into the outside wall for Dylan Baum. Oh, and then right into Cudmore.
That would explain the spinning.
Definitely not good timing there. I'll try to get a far chase angle right here of Cudmore. Wow.
There it is. Bang.
We got a slower angle here and just very unlucky there. Cudmore thought he had it, but Baum came down at just the right timing, the right and unfortunate timing, and he goes around there.
Great product placement for Cudmore Design, though.
No comment?
Just to see the words.
Yeah, sure, but getting involved in something that definitely is not good.
Oh, definitely. Just, seeing the words.
Yeah, I'm trying to go all the way back here to see what may have happened involving Jonathan War. Because I know obviously something happened with him and Kyle Knoll. May have to go in front here. There was contact right there. So we keep going.
Give me the Benny Hill music.
Okay, that's how it happened right there. And Knoll saves it. No, he doesn't. Oh, my God. Cudmore with the close call there, and then, of course, he gets bad luck with Dylan Baum. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yikes. And then, of course, later he gets into he has the bad luck end up going his way there.
That's not what you meant to say, is it?
I don't even know, man. I don't know. But yeah, Daniel Cudmore says he considers himself to be a conservative guy. And I remember last week saying, too, like, if you're drivers that are conservative, usually, like, it could go two ways. You could be conservative, but then there's always things that end up going wrong in your way. Because you're trying to avoid stuff, try to, like, avoid incidents, but then you might get involved in one that's at your control, or, like, sometimes the back of the field is, like, the more area, like, where all the chaos happens. But then at the same time, it could also reward you because you're, all the incidents and stuff you're staying away from, you're staying in the back of the pack as everything's happening in front of you, and then by the very end, you're up at the front with a good finish, and that's exactly what Cudmore experienced last week. But this time around, he's had luck not go his way, and in this time around, just incidents out of his fault, although there was that one situation, obviously, in the trial on that one restart where he seemed to, maybe it was something to do with shifting, blew the engine or something. But then he was able to get right back into it, and now all of a sudden he's got damage once again, back to 5 laps down. Tom Janikowski, you can see on the leaderboard there, 35 laps down, pretty much out of this one. And I'm going to mute us here very quickly before the restart just to maybe get some more context of stuff that's gone on. All right, then no extra context right there. Of course, I'm very lucky to have Jason Butler here in a Discord voice chat just so he can relay information to us that we may not be able to possibly hear in the iRacing voice chat, because, again, the iRacing audio can only go to one channel here, and we have to hear the racing. So back to green here on lap 98 at 134. Mark Cox, as a matter of fact, leading the way. And there's some pretty tight action here. Belmonte may have just scraped the wall right there coming out of the tri-oval. Jonathan War up here as well after getting caught up in some stuff earlier. But nice to see the number 98 Smarties car up front. Although you have Corbin McCauley of all drivers right behind him charging fast.
Yeah, a couple of island boys here trying to make things
Whoa,
interesting at the head of the field.
trouble! And Ty Higginbottom with a great save there on the apron. What is it with heart attacks at the beginning? What is it with the heart attacks we're getting on these restarts, man?
I mean, again, we've talked about it a couple of times here over the last couple of weeks. Multiple grooves, multiple options, multiple ways for things to go wrong, essentially. And yeah, good thing for Higgy, he was able to save that one.
Whoa. Trouble!
Maybe I spoke too soon.
Trouble! Mike Marini around into the outside wall. Michael Wolfer looks to be caught there as well. The caution's out. And Jason Butler there may have also gotten involved. There's Daniel Cudmore on the apron. Either he got off pit road or maybe something did happen with him too. But we have another incident here that we're going to have to look back at. Oh my goodness.
Not a good night to be named Mike, apparently.
Not at all. Okay, Wolford and Higginbottom got there. Wolford, okay, a bit of a weird deflection down into Marini. Wolford then gets into Butler, goes in the outside wall. Marini trying to save the car. He originally had it, but then that apron just caught him up and into the outside wall. And Butler, oh, jeez. But yeah, whatever happened there with Wolford was just odd. Just physics being weird. Like, look, bam, and right down. And then Butler obviously getting collected hard into the outside wall. Dylan Bond was able to get through that one.
I think Butler may have actually gotten a little tap on the back of Dylan Bond there at the same time, just as that was all happening. Kind of inconsequential when compared to everything else that happened over the course of the incident, but there was that little bit of contact there as well that may have also been a partial trigger as to everything that happened after.
Indeed, and we'll get the cockpit view here. Basically the entry to the safer barrier off of the concrete wall. Wolfer just gets into trouble there. And it looked like another car got into the wall up there as well. That might have been Jonathan Peaton. And then eventually the caution comes out. But oh man, this race is winding down. Stuff's happening. Just continues to be chaotic. Again, it was like Auto Club. The first two stages were clean and competitive, but then the third stage, everything started to happen. And then, but then this time around, it's stage 1 that's alone in that clean and competitive category. But then stages 2 and 3, just a completely different story. But we're seeing Mark Cox up here at the front. He's led 5 laps, lowest position of 18th. Justin Belmonte remaining up at the front with 12 laps led, lowest position of 16th. Jared Ireland with 2 laps led in 3rd place. Matthew Patek with 2 in 4th. Scott Bailey with 10 laps led, and of course the stage 1 victory. He's in 5th. There's Hunter Young. He's been putting on a very quiet performance, a very quietly impressive performance here tonight with 2 laps led. He's been sticking around between the top 10 and just below that. Lowest position of 17, Ty Higginbottom there. Lowest position of 14th. He sits in 7th. Corbin McCauley there was on the pit lane. Wonder if that might be a potential strategy call for him. He's led 39 laps of this 134 lap, or through these 101 laps here so far. And there's going down the pit lane is Jason Butler. Obviously no laps led, his highest position 7th. Lowest has been last. He's just been very stuck in the back here, 1 lap down. And quite literally, I was just chatting with him there to get some see if he had any context for earlier stuff that was going on, and just said, no, just pointing out that wrecks were happening, and I told him to go get him because he was in the position to be the lucky dog for the next potential caution period, but no, instead he gets involved. So just, I don't know, could you call it a broadcaster's jinx?
I thought about that. I mean, it certainly could fall into that category. I don't know if I would necessarily pin it all on that. Like, certainly, there's an element of bad luck in there as well. And, yeah, ultimately, kind of talked about it a little bit over the course of last week as well, but kind of got to be in it to kind of be competitive at the end. Ultimately, you can only control what your own car does on the track. So like they did in Jason Butler's case, sometimes, that's the nature of racing. Unfortunately, you kind of get caught up in things. Nothing's perfect by any means. But yeah, just a bit of an unfortunate circumstance there for the 10.
Yeah, the way Jason just pointed it out to me right there is just having a lot of bad luck, It looks like we'll be probably going back to green here on lap 105, 134. Mark Cox, for whatever reason, hopefully he doesn't go into any connection issues here, disappearing there about 2 times down the back straightaway. Jordy, very quickly before we go back to the green, could you name me one driver that, just straight up pick one driver that you think will be right there for the win? Like, you've been impressed with them all night here so far, and you're like, this is my winner pick. And then name one driver who's kind of, I guess in a way, disappointed you so far. Who comes to mind?
Oh, man. I'm going to get absolutely roasted for some of this here. I'll start positive here, and I think a guy's going to break his goose egg tonight, his overall goose egg, in the form of the number 21 of Matthew Paytak. I would not be surprised if he's there at the very end as the pace car pulls off. And, yeah, disappointments. I'd have to take a look a little bit further down the field. But right now we're back to green in Ireland. What a start there.
And Mark Cox had a bit of an issue there. They were getting 4 wide. They're still going to be 4 wide coming through turn 1. And I'm hearing McCauley's reaction from the other side of the wall. He passed about maybe 4 or 5 cars right there. That might be the move of the race right here if he can charge his way back up. There's Michael Wolfer coming along the apron right there. But, yeah, I heard McCauley was actually even himself was very shocked by all those moves. And indeed, I'm going to get back to this one very quickly. Here you saw all the carnage that was going on. And then he just makes his way through. I'll get to it one more. I'll try to get to a couple more times here. Let's see. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he got through about 5 cars on that restart.
Oh, man.
How about that?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like a bit of a bottleneck started there by the 98. Cox not quite getting started there, so to speak. And again, that allowed McCauley to make that jump up from, I believe he was 8th off of the restart. Is that right? And now suddenly right back in the mix in 3rd place and trying to breathe down the neck of Scott Bailey and indeed Jared Ireland, who got a fantastic restart.
Indeed so. Mark Cox ended up falling back to 4th place there, but he's still hanging up towards the front, of course. There's a lot of battling and jostling going on back here about mid-pack. Jonathan War right there. There's Paytek, who's fallen all the way back off of that restart. He was originally, I believe he was like 4th or 5th or something there, but he ended up falling back. And Jordy, you were talking there before the green flag. You were talking about Oh, yeah, the broadcaster things happened. You were talking about Paytech positively. Oh, there's contact in front. Knowles saves it.
And another early Christmas present. Santa's not going to his place, I don't think.
Kyle,
he's got all his presents now.
Kyle Knowles been going through it all in this race, and yet he's still going. The faith in that man is unreal. We'll try again to go back to what you were saying there. But I guess you did kind of technically jinx Paytech there. Obviously, there's still plenty of racing left, but who would be that one guy you would say that has probably disappointed you the most? And you could even say, like, even throughout the season so far, I know it's only round 3, but, like, who comes to mind in terms of disappointment for this race?
And really only round 2 for me because I wasn't really around for Daytona either.
Of course.
Man, disappointments. It's hard to quantify that because it seems like a lot of drivers have had their fair share of bad luck here tonight. I think right now, man, it's hard to say. I'm going to need one more look at 11 through 18 to kind of figure that one out because Cudmore and Janikowski, I can't really put in that boat, so to speak, because they've been caught up in a number of things. Yeah, it's really hard to pick one because, like, my instinct was to say, like, was to point potentially at Mike Marini, but tonight he's moved up from the back row to 11th where he is right now. So even that's not really a fair kind of assessment. Granted, it is a guy who's been in the round of 8 each of the first 3 seasons, so maybe not quite getting off the line as quickly as he would have, say, in the first 2 or 3 seasons, but he's a guy that, you know, he manages to find a way toward the end, and I wouldn't be surprised really to see him kind of make his way up and potentially make some noise a little bit later in the regular season and potentially in the playoffs as well.
For my own personal pick, I don't know if I want to go the biased route or maybe go with someone maybe a little bit more interesting based on how their race has gone. I'm kind of stuck between 2 drivers myself right now as Macaulay got a little bit of a loose moment there along the apron through turns 3 and 4. Maybe that's the signal to not mention his name because I was thinking maybe to go with him. But I think out of anyone, I'm going to go with the number 3 of Dylan Baum because he's been through a lot in this race with a couple different incidents that he's been involved in. But at the same time, though, he's led 29 laps. He currently sits in 5th. And again, he's making his way back up to the front. The broadcaster's jinx is probably going to get at him here, just like with you and Paytech, of course. But I'm going to go with Dylan Baum in this one because he's charging his way back up to the front, and he still has a very good chance of getting to victory lane and making it 3 races in a row where we could have a rookie winner. And speaking of that, of course, Jared Ireland's actually leading the way with 12 laps led now. So even then, if it's not Dylan Baum, we still have a rookie leader, although Corbin McCauley is now charging his way back up, so he might end up going back to what I just said there about Dylan Baum and saying, like, hey, you should have picked me.
And, I mean, don't look now. Scott Bailey trying to take the all-time lead for race wins as well. Right now, tied with Darcy Ford on 10, historically. Win number 11, again, would set him apart. He's there in 3rd. He could be a player at the end.
Indeed so. He was able to get the job done stage 1, taking advantage of the pit window, of course. Stage 2 kind of fell back a little bit and wasn't really in much of the running. But now he's right back at it here in this 3rd stage, been able to stay conservative and avoid incidents, obviously. So it's a rookie. You got a rookie here leading the way, and then you got 2 veterans here, a 4-year driver, Macaulay, and then you got the 3rd-year guy in Scott Bailey. Dylan Baum, the rookie here, and then Paytech, of course, Paytech in his 3rd year running as well. So, and the caution's out. Trouble for Jonathan War in the 29 down the back straightaway. He gets the car straight, and he's been involved in a couple incidents here tonight. Hasn't led a single lap. His highest position has been 2nd, probably due to the pit windows. Lowest position of last, of course. But we're going to have to take a look at what just happened right here involving him. That's a little too early right there. We'll get a angle here at CD Magrum right behind him. Okay, no, War got loose off the apron. Still couldn't catch the car. And then spins it back up into Hunter Young. Oh, and good avoidance right there. I believe I couldn't really recognize the car right there, but War
All
was
of
able
them.
to get... Say that again, sorry?
All of them.
Sure, we'll call it that. But yeah, you see War down the back straightaway, then spins back up right into the left side, the driver's side there, and then Mike Marini with a good job of avoiding that one. Try to get a cockpit view here of what happened. Yeah, just kind of lost at the apron there. Didn't help. He had already kind of had it loose before then, but then he just couldn't really keep it going. Then he lost control there right into Hunter Young very hard, and then you see Marini just whip by there on the inside. We'll try to get an angle here from Hunter Young, who was right behind War and Magram. On the far chase cam, we'll get right here and just, yeah, side swiped. He goes in the outside wall. Hopefully that won't cause any issues for him. We'll get back right here. He is on the pit lane. Maybe trying to fix the damage right there. A bunch of other cars also on pit road. Jared Ireland, Corbin McCauley, Dylan Baum in there as well. Scott Bailey, Andy Hurdle. Looks as though Darcy Ford did not pit. So I wonder if he's thinking of something here as this race winds down on lap 118 at a 134.
You're saying the guy who's won at Vegas twice might be thinking of something? Go figure.
Yeah, go figure. Indeed so. He, in the first 2 seasons of the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on NASCAR Heat 5, of course, he got the job done at Las Vegas 2 years in a row.
And then the second one for his Earl Ross Cup, which I'm sure Jonathan Peden does not want me to remind him of.
I mean, yeah, Peden, last 2 years, he's been the runner-up in the championship Ford to Darcy Ford and Ty Higginbottom, who they were teammates last year, but now this year they're not. So, yeah, I agree that Peden definitely wouldn't want to be reminded of that, and why do I have to get another notification there? That is just unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, go figure. Darcy Ford trying to think of something at the track that he's won here at twice. He had a close call last year as well, but no, instead it was former driver and rookie last year, Mike Nickens, instead getting the job done. So he'll look to get his 3rd victory at the track in 4 years. And that would definitely be something good for him because, again, looking at the standings, Darcy Ford currently sits 20th in the standings after 2 races. No top 5s or top 10s. He hasn't even gotten any bonus points yet. Looking at his results so far, he started 19th at Daytona, he started 10th at Daytona, so it looked to be a good start there. Then he only finished 18th with 4 incident points. He did lead 1 lap. At Auto Club, he started 19th, finished 20th with 6 incident points, and he just... I guess that I would say based on his history and just statistics going over the past 3 years, I would probably say I had been a little bit disappointed with Darcy Ford here so far. But then again, though, his iRacing experience isn't too much. I believe it is limited. I believe I do have notes on that here. I'll have to take a look here. Yeah, Darcy Ford's one of the drivers in the field that has not driven the next gen. And he actually has transitioned to Chevrolet for the first time in his career. So there's definitely been a lot of transitioning between manufacturers and from NASCAR Heat 5 to iRacing here, of course. So, but again, it's lap 120 to 134, this 3rd and final stage, and the race, the Las Vegas 200, is winding down. Does it 2 laps led under caution. He's won here twice, so don't underestimate him and don't count him out. Although we may have just hit him with the broadcaster's jinx, but let's pray that doesn't happen.
It's definitely an interesting roll of the dice here, Regan. Sorry to use another Vegas pun, but it really is in this case. Again, we've talked about him winning twice here at Vegas. Obviously, the decision to not come in to pit on this particular caution could pay dividends. He's a guy who'd be hungry for a win. Again, he's won 10 times over the first 3 seasons. None of those were last season, though. The last time he won was, in fact, that season 2 finale right here at Vegas for that Earl Ross Cup. And so you'd have to think a guy as proud and competitive as the number 64 of Darcy Ford, one of the day 1 OGs here in the Canadian eMotorsports Network. he's got to be thinking that, there's something in the bag for him here tonight, and we'll find out soon enough as we're back to green.
Jared Ireland got a little bit of a bump there on the outside, but not the greatest start for him. Darcy Ford and Corbin McCauley on the inside instead, getting good on the restart there. But no, McCauley's going to dive down to the inside of Ford and try to take the advantage, trying to carry on that momentum that he had from moving like past 4 or 5 cars in that 4-wide situation. The CD Magram had a moment there coming off of turn 2. But McCauley leading the way here. Ford in second place. Jared Ireland trying to use the Kyle Larson line in the high groove to get past Scott Bailey as everyone comes off turn 4. 3 wide towards the back here. I'll try to see what's going on. Yes, it's Mark Cox and Jonathan Peen going with some there. Justin Belmonte actually pulled back out of that one. So they continue to battle side by side right here. Oh, there's contact up front. Darcy Ford's around.
And I was wondering
saved it. Oh, no.
I was wondering if maybe Ford was hoping for another caution. The flag hasn't come out yet, notably. But, again, I was wondering if he was banking on maybe one more. I'm sure he wasn't thinking he'd be in it. And he hasn't been yet.
Yeah, and Ford now
going still green.
Ford driving along the apron. He spun it and practically in front of the whole field there. And right into the outside wall, but we're still green. And although Mark Cox and Andy Hurdle are getting into a battle area here, we'll make sure that nothing happens right here so that we'll be able to go back and check out what happened. Looks like we're going to be okay, so we're going to go back and check out what happened as Ford goes down the pit lane.
Yeah, that bloody broadcaster jinx, I think, hit again.
Indeed it did. Ticker's going to come off here very quickly. But just coming down the back straight, 4 goes up into Jared Ireland. Not clear. He goes in the outside wall. And then, oh my goodness, he got lucky not to get hit by anyone, but then he did. Before that, he got lucky, but then he didn't. How unfortunate.
Paint trade there with Hunter Young maybe there on the end. It's hard to tell. But I know the car was certainly dark, which doesn't really narrow it down, but maybe Marini.
Hunter Young is going to be a guy I'm going to look at here. Oh no, the caution's out actually. Caution's out. I wonder if something may have happened or maybe... Oh no, there is a car around actually. I can't tell who it is. I'm trying to take a look. It looks like it's Jonathan Peden. And the caution's out with 10 laps to go. Oh my goodness.
Man, the stop-start nature has reared its ugly head again here, Riggs.
Indeed it has. We're going to have to take a look back here. Might have been a 3-wide situation. Mark, okay, yeah, there was contact. Cox hard to the wall. He lost his front end in that one. Going to try and get a better angle of it right here. Yeah, Cox just goes all the way up in a 3-wide situation. Peden then slides down the track, luckily not hit by anyone else.
Yeah, but the Gator still got bit pretty hard there on that contact and getting spun around.
Yeah, they were 3 wide, and maybe there was netco between Magram and Cox. I do wonder if that might have been the case, actually, as Peden then gets turned around. You can see right there along the inside, there might have been, like, maybe some netco contact, and then Peden goes around Cox with some damage there as well. Actually, he didn't fully lose the front end. Might have been a vision thing, but it's pretty damaged up, especially on the right front. So not good for a guy like Mark Cox, who, again, if you look at the driver info quickly, he does have 7 laps led and has led under green flag conditions. So very unfortunate to see there, as we will come back to live with 8 laps to go, as there goes Jason Butler around everyone. It looks as though he will be the lucky dog. And although he's been caught up in some incidents with a lot of bad luck, as he was saying there to me earlier, there's still a chance for him to get a good finish. He could try and add a top 10 to his credit. I mean, looking at the standings here so far, if I can pull it back here, Jason Butler does not have a top 5 or a top 10 through 2 races, but he does sit 14th with 4 bonus points. He did get stage points between Daytona and Auto Club, so again, not fully out of it. He is in the playoff hunt. So there's still time for things to happen. If maybe the whole field wads it up, then maybe he could figure something out. I know there were a lot of cars there that went down pit road, but right now, by the looks of it, We'll be coming to 7 laps to go under caution as Corbin McCauley leads the way. Looking for his first win of the season after finishing second place at Daytona and Auto Club. Scott Bailey there, the Stage 1 winner in second place. Matthew Patek has been kind of up and down throughout this race, but has been able to maintain himself here in the top 5 and the top 10. Does have the winning pace. It's just, is he going to be able to try and beat guys like McCauley and Bailey, who are known for their coveted success and accomplishments in the series as history? And then there's Andy Hurdle.
The first guy I jinxed a few laps ago.
Yeah, there's that too as well. I guess I don't know yet about Dylan Baum. He's still in there in 7th place, but then again, we're going back to Andy Hurdle, who on the driver info tab, Andy Hurdle has not led any laps, but he has shown decent speed here for a top 10, maybe even a top 5. Highest position of 4th, of course, lowest position of last. I mean, again, for a guy who, like Darcy, I mentioned with Darcy Ford earlier, never driven a next gen on an oval. Well, actually, so yeah, there is the difference there. Darcy Ford has never driven a next gen before the season. Andy Hurdle never drove one on an oval, but was on the road courses with it. So we're seeing Andy Hurdle get off to a good start this season on the ovals, of course. No road courses on the season 4 schedule. We're saving that for next year. But looking at the standings, Andy Hurdle sits in 5th place with 1 top 5 and 1 top 10, 17 bonus points. Does have 12 incident points, which is one of the leading ones in the standings. He hasn't dropped any positions though ever since Auto Club. He actually has stuck it in 5th place, I believe Daytona and after Daytona and Auto Club. So again, Hurdle's been off to a good start for. Especially with a schedule that has no road courses, it's only ovals. But again, 1 top 5, 1 top 10 through 2 races on ovals. Pretty good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. He's shown that he's able to adapt, whether it's to, different series, because again, initially his background was on the Project Cars side of things when he first came to Canadian eMotorsports Network. And again, he was able to adapt to NASCAR within the season, make his way into, I believe, the round of 12 back in season 2, and then he's kind of adapted through the Formula One series and the IndyCar series as well. And now that we're onto the new platform of iRacing again, Andy Hurdle appears to be a quick study here on the ovals, again positioned in 4th as we are hoping to get toward a restart here. But there's some heavy hitters up front. You see McCauley and Bailey there 1st and 2nd. Matt Patak, my earlier pick before he got jinxed, he's back up to 3rd. And don't look now, I kind of hear the Jaws music in my head, because look who's 5th. That'll be the defending Earl Ross Cup champion looking to get to victory lane.
Done. And the pace car is off. We're going to be going back to green, the Las Vegas 200 in this 3rd and final stage. 5 laps remaining. McCauley with a jump there. I guess that's the way to put it. A good start for him. Matthew Patek, Scott Bailey bound side by side. They're going to be 3 wide into the corner here. CD Magrum off the high side. There's going to be contact. No. They're able to keep it going. Ooh. Kyle Knowles on that left rear quarter panel of Magrum. They're going to be 3 wide heading into the corner. Magrum up high, Higginbottom through the middle. He's able to cleanly get through there. What a move from him. As they get through the tri-oval, they're able to get through pretty cleanly. Dylan Baum there along the apron.
Any further cautions here, Riggs? You'd have to think we'd be getting into green-white checkered territory here, no?
Indeed, we would be. There would only be a couple attempts there, of course, if it were to happen. But Corbin McCauley leading the way. Into turns 3 and 4, Magrum and Baum there battling side by side, trying to make it 3 wide on the inside there. Baum able to clear from the high side, but Kyle Knoll on the inside. Jonathan Pean going to try and make a run for 3 wide, but he's going to get blocked off by Magrum. Into turn 1. Knoll and Magrum will continue to fight here. But if you look up towards the front, looks as though Corbin McCauley might be on his way to a win here if Matthew Patak can't catch up. He and Bailey continuing to battle there. Or not really for second place there, but Patak holding on by a decent distance over Bailey. Some close racing back here once again for 4th through 6th. With 2 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely every man for himself at this point. I referred earlier to the fact that Paytak and Bailey are often frequent partners on track, but I think it's kind of all out the window here now, although maybe one last gasp to try and reel in Corbin McCauley, but it looks like, again, knock on wood as he heads to the white flag, that 17's definitely built up a gap here off of this last restart.
Indeed so, about a half a second over Matthew Paytek, but that was the white flag for the Las Vegas 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Corbin McCauley finished second place at Daytona Auto Club, falling just short to Justin Belmonte, the rookie, both times. It's not going to be 3 races in a row for Belmonte or rookie, but the 4-year driver in his number 17 Holland College Chevrolet, turns 3 and 4. Off of turn 4, McCauley's going to come off the final corner, take the checkered flag for his first win of the season. He's in the playoffs. McCauley wins the Las Vegas 200.
And I mean, it's hard to argue with that result, really, as we see Paytak and Bailey coming second and third. Dylan Baum with a nice run through the field in fourth. But yeah, to get back to Corbin McCauley, again, he started on pole here tonight. He's been left at the altar basically each of the first 2 weeks. Third time, definitely the charm here for the 17, as you mentioned, locking in the playoff spot earlier. And now has officially become the first driver to win in all 4 seasons of the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series. So hats off to the number 17 Holland Hurricanes Chevy, as he's going to do some donuts.
Indeed he will. He's going to go for the celebration there. Some cars watch from behind Paytek and Bailey there at the start-finish line, but Corbin McCauley will celebrate here. You can get a perspective here from the fan cam. Corbin McCauley leading 53 laps here tonight in this Las Vegas 200. Lowest position of 14th. Paytek and Bailey, the second, third place finishers, they're still waiting there at the start-finish line, maybe to congratulate or just, I guess, be there. And look at McCauley there celebrating. We'll get the static TV camera going there. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. This would be perfect for a highlight reel, huh?
I mean, the highlights are available on YouTube. Easy enough to clip.
Indeed so, and he'll probably try to take as many photos as possible. Okay, I know it's just to get the top 3 finishers for the photos that will be used in the graphics for race results and driver standings and all that. So,
for the gram.
Indeed, for the gram. Gotta get those views and those likes, And look at them. Paytek even trying to get some smoke in there as Bailey dips out. But a lot of smoke and a lot of tire spinning going on at the start-finish line here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it took me that long to say we're in Nevada.
I mean, the broadcast isn't necessarily about geography lessons.
Yeah. And about that, McCauley may have learned the burnout lesson there with the blown engine now. He won't be able to celebrate any longer. But that does it here, though, for tonight's race. Of course, we're now going to take a look, of course, at the unofficial results. Corbin McCauley, the number 17 Chevrolet, for his individual team, sponsoring Holland College. Of course, he'll be going back to college here next fall. Returning there, obviously, he was in a program there before. Matthew Paytek collecting a solid second place finish there, running smoothly all race. Did get caught up in some stuff, but he did a relatively solid job there. And there's Scott Bailey in third place, the Stage 1 winner. Didn't show up a whole lot in Stage 2, but he was able to come back around in Stage 3 and get the job done. Dylan Baum right there went through a lot in this race, but he was able to come home with a solid fourth place finish there. And Andy Hurdle wraps up the top 5 right there, and you can only imagine he'll probably still be good in the point standings, whether it's 5th or maybe moving up, actually, because I know Justin Belmonte will be a guy in particular we'll have to look at later on who may end up falling in the standings even more. But that wraps up for the top 5 there. Jordy, take away the rest of the results there.
Yeah, so again, off the restart, Ty Higginbotham found himself in the mix, so to speak, but ultimately finishes up in 6th place, accompanied less than a tenth behind the number 1 of C.D. Mangrum. And let's complete the Season 3 Tornado Alley trio with Jonathan Peden coming home in 8th. Kyle Knoll comes home in 9th. Hunter Young will round out the top 10. As we take a look at the rest of the field, here, just waiting for 11 to 20 to pop up. And in 11th is the number 10 of Jason Butler, with Jared Ireland falling down to 12th after being in the lead in the late going. Just kind of had some misfortune pop up with that bit of contact with Darcy Ford there toward the end. Jonathan Moore comes home in 13th. You mentioned Justin Belmonte, winner of the first two races of the season, ultimately comes home 14th tonight, 2 laps down. And Darcy Ford also 2 laps down as he finishes 15th. Again, a late leader in tonight's race, just had a bit of misfortune there toward the end. Michael Wolford in 16th in the number 36. Dan Cudmore, series founder, 7 laps down in 17th. Mark Cox, another guy who was contending late in the race, ultimately winds up in 18th. Mike Marini in the number 12, 10 laps down in 19th. And I believe Tom Janikowski will round out the field in the number 93. And 73 laps down. I wonder if he was an early retirement. Did we ever confirm that?
He indeed definitely retired at some point. Yeah, 73 laps down, of course. I believe it probably would have been stage 2 at some point. I would think maybe early stage 3, but he retired. He definitely retired regardless. So that'd be 2 or 3 races where the number 93 car, unfortunately, DNFs. He also did at Daytona too. Trying to look here as well. He was able to come home in 19th at Auto Club, but again, it hasn't been really a good start to his season here so far. Again, looking right here, it is his 2nd season in a row in the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, the individual Chevrolet from Appleton, Wisconsin. So not a good start for him, but there's still plenty of time for things to shape up and maybe get some good finishes to barely squeeze in the playoff hunt. But that really does it for the unofficial